Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving right into a data-driven framework that tackles one of the absolute biggest, most stubborn friction points in online retail. We're going to discover exactly how e-commerce businesses are strategically building trust and driving serious sales using social proof banner ads. So, if you're an executive or a business owner looking to really optimize your digital marketing spend, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Because think about it. How exactly do you sell a product a customer literally cannot touch? It's the ultimate digital retail dilemma, right? It's kind of like a blind date. You only have a profile to go on. When someone's shopping online, they can't pick up the item, they can't feel the material, they can't test its weight or quality. As consumers, our primary anxiety when buying blind online is that what actually arrives in the mail just won't match our expectations. And that uncertainty, that is the absolute enemy of conversion. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark divide we have to cross. In a physical store, you have total confidence, right? You have the ability to just reach out, touch, and inspect the product. But in e-commerce, that physical interaction is completely replaced by informational uncertainty. Shoppers are forced to rely entirely on digital evidence. If that evidence is weak, or worse, missing entirely, the perceived risk skyrockets, and the wallet stays firmly closed.
So here's our blueprint for today's explainer. First, we'll cover the online trust problem, then the mechanics of social proof, followed by formats that build trust. After that, we'll look at accelerating e-commerce conversions, retargeting with customer validation, and finally, authenticity and measuring success.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the online trust problem. E-commerce relies incredibly heavily on something called evidence visibility. Basically, because your customers cannot physically touch your products, they experience a really high degree of purchase uncertainty. This lack of visible evidence leads directly to hesitation, which, you guessed it, leads right to cart abandonment. Trust in e-commerce isn't about asking for blind faith. It's about providing enough visible evidence to make the customer feel totally safe taking that leap. Okay, let's dive into this and start unpacking the psychological solution in Section 2, Mechanics of Social Proof. Social proof is formally defined as a behavioral influence mechanism based on observing the positive actions and experiences of other customers. What's truly fascinating here is that this isn't just marketing jargon, right? It's behavioral science. We are literally hardwired to look at what other people are doing whenever we feel uncertain about what to do ourselves. So how do we actually apply that science? Well, enter social proof banner ads. These present visible proof of customer satisfaction specifically to support mid-funnel decision-making, and that timing is absolutely key. At this mid-funnel stage, the buyer already knows what the product is, but they're actively weighing its reliability and its value. By presenting this visible proof, you effectively reduce that friction and validate their buying decisions right when they're sitting there on the fence.
So what does this actually look like in practice? That brings us to Section 3, formats that build trust.
You actually have quite an arsenal at your disposal here. Formats like customer reviews, star ratings, and testimonials, they prioritize reassurance and credibility. Meanwhile, user-generated content, like customer images or videos, that brings a crucial layer of raw, real-world authenticity. Expert endorsements lend authority. But then you have purchase statistics and real-time activity notifications. These are super interesting because they don't just reassure the buyer, they create FOMO and a real sense of urgency by showing active, live demand. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is taking a huge number, like 5,200. When you leverage specific purchase volumes, like 5,200 units sold this month, in your banner ads, you are actively demonstrating massive market acceptance. You're basically telling the customer, look, thousands of people have already evaluated this risk, and they decided it was 100% worth it. It is incredibly persuasive. Similarly, verified ratings do so much heavy lifting for your credibility. Seeing something like 4.9 out of 5 from 8,400 reviews tells a buyer one vital thing: performance consistency. It says, hey, this product is great, and it's great every single time it ships. That virtually eliminates their perceived purchasing risk. Let's shift gears and look at the actual performance metrics in Section 4, accelerating e-commerce conversions. Whenever you pit a standard promotional message against a message backed by customer validation, the validated product wins almost every single time. Why? Because standard promos inherently trigger our skepticism, don't they? We know we're being sold to. Customer validation completely bypasses that defense mechanism. It accelerates confidence and dramatically shortens the evaluation time because credibility-focused messaging inherently lowers the perceived risk of actually clicking and buying.
Let's move to and see how this builds into recapture strategies for warm leads in Section 5, Retargeting with Customer Validation. Let's look at this behavioral loop in action. Say a customer is eyeing a pair of running shoes on your site, but, life happens, they get distracted, and they abandon their cart. Your behavioral tracking triggers on this high-intent exit, but instead of hitting them with the generic, "Hey, come back" ad, a personalized trust banner appears on another site they happen to be visiting, showing a 4.8 rating from 6,700 actual buyers. You're following them with external validation to reconnect them to the product, recapturing their attention using the community's voice. To make this work seamlessly at scale, the real pro tip is using dynamic banner systems. These systems automatically update ratings, review counts, and customer activity in real time. This ensures absolute message freshness and contextual relevance. You're focusing on audiences with high intent who already know the product. They just need that final, real-time external validation to push them over the line and complete the transaction.
Which leads us to our final section, focusing on genuine ROI. Section 6, Authenticity and Measuring Success.
It turns out the golden rule for all of this is sheer authenticity. Buyers are incredibly savvy these days. For instance, if they see nothing but perfect 5-star reviews with zero contextual detail, it actually triggers suspicion. Your social proof absolutely requires verified purchases, and having balanced feedback is essential. Furthermore, exaggerated or manipulated testimonials don't just damage consumer trust, they invite serious regulatory compliance risks. Authentic, genuine proof is what truly supports long-term customer retention and repeat purchase behavior.
So how do we actually measure this impact? It really comes down to a few core key performance indicators. Watch your conversion rates to see if that reassurance is actively closing sales. Click-through rates will reveal if your trust signals are grabbing attention. Look for bounce rate reduction on your landing pages. That indicates stronger content relevance. Monitor return visitor frequency, especially in those remarketing campaigns we just discussed. And finally, use revenue attribution models to directly connect ad exposure to completed transactions. This is exactly how you prove the real revenue impact of your trust-building system.
So, the crucial point is this. Modern e-commerce consumers are savvy, and they are inherently skeptical of being sold to blindly. I want to leave you with a provocative thought as you evaluate your own marketing strategy. Take a hard look at your current campaigns and ask yourself, are your ads simply making promises, or are they providing undeniable, customer-backed proof? Because the answer to that question might just be the key to unlocking your next stage of growth.